All right, so time for another Real Talk segment.
Yay.
These are so much fun where Judy and I just get to pick
Yammer.
something. Yeah, well, it's my week to pick. So
Yeah.
I picked the topic, I picked judgment because recently I was in a discussion where we were talking about how hard it can be to get our teens to open up to us, which actually came up a little in the topic today, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about times when they would open up. But sometimes, even in those situations, even when they're ready and want to talk, they won't. And what we found through talking to the teens over at our work in Dacian, we found out from the kids that reason is they feel judged. And so that whole judgment space is something we need to think about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it's funny because we always, because we've been there, quote unquote, and, you know, and been teens and young adults before, we assume that we understand what our kids are going through. And I think that in today's, you know, I hate to say that because it makes us sound so old. Today's world, you know,
kids today.
Exactly. But they have challenges and things that they're dealing with that we have never experienced. And when we try, at least I know for myself, when I try to take what they're talking to me about and filter it through, you know, our natural tendency is to filter it through our experience before we share information. If I filter it through my experience, I'm judging because my experience is nothing like theirs. I'm assuming I get it, and I don't think I really do anymore.
Well, and that's interesting, Judy, because, you know, with that filtering thing, even if I had the same experience, I'm not the same person.
True.
So as I was listening to you, I went to someplace a little different in thinking about this. And I'm thinking it can feel to them like judgment when we are trying to not just understand what happened, but as parents, what we're really doing is thinking it through and looking at why did it happen and how did it start? So how can we help them fix it? Or how can we help them stop it? How do we help them get through it? How do we guide them?
Yep.
So what I'm thinking is, what if we just shut up? And I don't mean just our mouth.
Right.
I mean, if we shut off our brain and all of that chatter. And when we're talking to them, instead of talking, just get curious. Just ask them questions. What happened? Really? Do you have any idea why? How did it feel? But when we're listening to the answers, just be trying to understand what they saw and thought and felt.
Right. And I think that sometimes when we, you know, talk things through, like I am a verbal processor.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I'm trying to understand where my kids are coming from or talk to them about something that they're going through, I will do it out loud. And it almost can bite me in the butt if I do it to the point where they think that I have an opinion on what they're going through. And they will just, not so much as just, you know, cut me off, but they will shut down and stop sharing as much. So that's the cue that I listen to. If all of a sudden my kids are chit-chatty and then I give them a little bit of feedback and then they just go, oh yeah, and don't engage, I know that somehow, some way they took what I was saying as being judgmental. And so, you know, so I have a question for you. How do we not be judgmental? How do we don't, you know,
not
be judgmental?
And the thing I think that's hardest about it is I want to say we're not being, because that's not what we're doing. We're not trying to judge them. So the first thing I think we have to do is remember that it's not even about what we think we're doing or what we're trying to do.
Right.
It is only about how they perceive it.
Right.
And I'm not sure exactly how to describe it because it's such a subtle distinction that I have found for myself. And it's what I was saying before of it's a matter of being 100% present in the moment that they are speaking to us.
Absolutely.
With truly no other thoughts about what, why, when, where, how, nothing. The only thing we're doing is hearing what they're saying and asking them more questions about how they felt, what they saw, what they think.
Right.
Don't form any opinions. Don't share any opinions unless they specifically ask. And even then it can be tricky because, we've got body language, and I know that, my kids have done that. I have, especially one of my daughters, she will just look at me and decide that I didn't like what she said or I have an opinion. And that's okay because, we found that out. We've discovered that and we brought it up. And so now she'll be more likely to go, well, you didn't like that. So, I encourage them to tell me. Maybe that's one, Judy. I hadn't thought of that. What if we just say, I want to understand exactly what you're saying and what you're thinking and going through. And so if you think I'm doing anything other than that, please tell me.
Right. And I think as our kids get older in their teen years and, as they approach those college years, I think that, we forget that a lot of times when they're coming to talk to us, they don't want us to fix it. They just need someone to listen so that they can process whatever they're going through. And I think that that's where we as parents go, I'm not judging, I'm just talking. But our kids don't want us to talk. Yeah. They just need us to listen. And, you were saying, one of the things that I found a tool that works with me is my kids and I go, this is the friend zone. Because you talk to your friend differently than you talk to your parent. So as now they're in their mid-20s, so sometimes I'll be, okay, friend zone if I'm talking about something in my life. But for a long time, when they were in their last year of high school, early college, if they wanted to talk about a topic that isn't really mom-friendly, but they needed advice from someone not a peer, they'd be like, okay, Mom, can we go to the friend zone? And what that meant, and I just went, oh God, okay. But what it meant was that it was a judge-free place that they could say anything, and I couldn't be mommy. I couldn't be mommish. Yeah. And that worked for us because it was that just saying those words, friend zone, made me check myself. I
love it. It can be just about the words. This is actually not kids. It's my husband and I, but we do that in that because I am also I process by speaking and he does not. He processes internally and spits out the bottom line.
Right.
So we have areas where we've done that, where I tell him, I don't need you to listen. I'm processing. Right. And then he can just let it all go. And he knows that he's not trying to follow my line of thinking or, fix anything. Or he's like, I just need to blow off steam. And then I know I don't even really have to fully listen to that. Right. I just need to be there so he can talk. And I know to check my mouth. And we can do that the same thing with the kids and the friend zone. So I love these, Jude. Yes. I think these are really cool, really awesome ideas. And I'm going to alter the friend zone a little bit. I'm going to take that concept to my kids.
Exactly. And I think, I would love for our listeners to share in the comments either on our Facebook group, Mighty Parenting Facebook group. I would love to hear how you handle the whole judgment and getting in that zone of being able to talk to your kids and listen to your kids. So we want you to do that, is join that conversation over on the Facebook group. And we want to give you something, just a little free gift from us that will help you kind of be inspired to become a mighty parent. You can just go over to mightyparentingpodcast.com and get that free gift, which will also alert you to the shows that we have coming up down the pike. And there are some good ones, so you definitely want to get on that. And this Real Talk segment, we want content from you to talk about the things you need. So drop us a line here on the YouTube channel or over on our group, or even just send us a text on
Email.
An email. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. mightypurchasing.com. And we will get those questions answered. Thanks for being with us today. And until next time, this is Sandy and Judy saying, have a good one.
Adios.